If I stand this far away, I'm just as tall as he is. After a fabulous full day in Chicago, it's time to start driving the Mother Road. But there's one last stop in town. In Chicago, you don't need a sign on the door. If the lights are on, come on in. If they're not, thank you. See you tomorrow. This is Lou Mitchell's, and it's a tradition to have breakfast here before you embark on Route 66. Now that's an omelet breakfast.
Oh, you don't mess around, huh?
I don't.
Wow, good job.
A lot of food, really great, wonderful service. You can tell there are a lot of regulars in there. Everybody knows your name. Perfect way to start a Route 66 adventure. Lou Mitchell's is very close to Union Station. You could see a lot of people were in there traveling, starting their trips with a great big breakfast. Once the tallest building in the world for nearly 25 years, and I would dare say definitely the tallest building right on Route 66. Now, about the car. What has become part of Route 66 lore? The movie Cars with Sally Carrera. So for this journey, we're hopping into a real Porsche 911 Carrera, a 2006 cabriolet, so we can see everything. And yes, I plan to have the top down the entire way. Let's fire up its legendary 3.8-liter flat-six engine and roll in the spirit of Sally Carrera. I like this tile mural of Chicago. It even includes the parking garage where it resides. Turning out to be a beautiful morning in Chicago after a few raindrops, but nothing really much. I'm going to stick real close to the Mother Road, and we're going to experience some of the old motels that are still open, some of the restaurants that are still open, like Lou Mitchell's. What a great place to dine to start this road trip. This is the end of Route 66 on Jackson as we cross under the L with a train overhead. There's the sign ending the historic route. And now we begin the adventure on historic Route 66. There's the sign that I left my sticker on. And coming up is the second sign I left my sticker on. I have a whole stack of them to distribute along the way. And I intend on using every one of them. There we go. The second little start of Route 66 in this little park that you can not access as of 2026. I'm sure at some point it will be open again. Thousands of people riding the L every day, passing across the start of Route 66. This is a beautiful day to begin the journey. The Berghoff straight ahead, Chicago's oldest restaurant. Oh, what a nice dinner there. I enjoyed that. Another Route 66 tradition. All right, I'm coming up to the hotel where I stayed on this trip to Chicago, in the Central Loop, right on Adams Street. Club quarters. It was really nice. It had all the amenities I needed. I was able to do laundry for free there. You know, it just started off everything on the right foot. So thank you, Club Quarters Hotel. The Rookery Building, one of Chicago's most famous. And of course, just another block up is the Willis Tower. That is a tall building, 110 stories. The observation deck is on 103. And while it's a little pricey, I think it's worth the visit. Unparalleled views of the city. Unless you're in an airplane. But you don't have as much time in a plane to see the city as you do up on the observation deck at Willis Tower. And the ledge is really cool. Back over the Chicago River. One last time. Union Station. So we leave the large buildings behind of Chicago. Skyline will be fading behind us as we work our way west. Adams will continue until we reach Ogden, and then we'll take a diagonal southwesterly run for a while until we go straight south. Joliet will be one of our big stops today, and of course Pontiac, where today's journey will end, and a lot of other great little towns along the way. Once we get down to the end of Adams and on to Ogden, we're going to see Lulu's Hot Dogs, go under the railroad viaduct, and then see Castle Car Wash.
How would you like to see today's entire drive on Route 66? Stop over at GPS2 for a special time-lapse video. I call it the Route 66 Drive Lapse. Travel the Mother Road from Chicago to Pontiac, Illinois in just over 8 minutes. The link is in this video's description. And better yet, subscribe to both channels for free as we travel along Route 66 all the way to Santa Monica.
As you can see, I mean, in this part of Chicago, at 11 a.m., there's just no traffic. This very quickly turns into low-rise, medium-rise, residential, commercial areas. This reminds me of some of the DC neighborhoods. These beautiful old row houses.
I like a good hot dog. And since 1968, Lulu's has earned its place as a favorite for serving traditional Chicago hot dogs on poppy seed buns with mustard, relish, tomato, sport peppers, and a pickle spear on the side. You can also enjoy Italian beef sandwiches, chili cheese dogs, barbecue ribs, and more. And there's even a small sports museum inside. Okay, now I'm hungry again, but it hasn't opened for the day yet. We'll just have to settle for peeking through the window real quick. As we'll see almost everywhere along Route 66, paint and murals.
Right across the street, bakery that's been there since 1908. There we go, Sally Carrera's little brother. This is the configuration with the 360-degree camera. Well, I couldn't have eaten at Lulu's now anyway. They're not open. Next trip. Here's the sign, Route 66. This is the 1925 Castle Car Wash, a castle-shaped building that was built by Louis Ehrenberer. And over the years, it's had several businesses. Local legend claims it was once used as a link to Al Capone's crime syndicate network. Well, if it's true, at least Al Capone had a clean car. Al Capone did not have a clear view if he intended to use this as a lookout window.
Now occupied by a shopping center, Hawthorne Works was a massive Western electric factory, famous for producing telephone equipment. Only the water tower remains of the original complex that once employed 45,000 people and operated from 1905 to 1983. The local businesses still nod to that industrial past in Cicero. So many old buildings are on Route 66, not acknowledged in any of the guides, but have obviously stood for much of this famous road's existence.
We are coming up on Henry's Drive-In. So they say, the best Chicago-style hot dogs in the area. Of course, they have other things on the menu too. There it is, Henry's.
Henry's opened in the 1950s, and the big hot dog sign is original.
Well, here's what the app says is a classic stop on Route 66 in Berwyn. Cigars and Stripes Barbecue. It's a former firehouse. This venue is famous for its Southern-style barbecue, live blues music, strong Route 66 atmosphere. We have the alien-themed Route 66 mural. Of course, there's a Muffler Man statue. This is the first one we've seen. One of the iconic roadside giants that you know is part of America's golden age of highway travel. Many of them along Route 66. Is that a mannequin or a real person? Yeah, I think it's the first. Looks like he had perhaps a little too much hot sauce. A little bit of Las Vegas flair. Welcome to fabulous McCook, Illinois.
This sign, by the way, is relatively recent, put up in 2013. White Fence Farm, meanwhile, has been serving chicken dinners since 1954. You have to ring the bell at Lambert's 1957 mobile and convenience store, which claims to be the oldest continuously operating gas station on all of Route 66.
That's old Joliet prison over there. They built it in the 1850s. It remained an institution until 2002. The old Joliet prison, now open to the public as a historic site. Here at Route 66 Park, you can also see the Illinois and Michigan Canal. Of course, the railroads that cross through here. You had the Chicago and Rock Island Railroad. That reached Joliet in 1852. And the Michigan Central Railroad in 1855. The Elgin, Joliet, and Eastern Railway, that was commonly known as the Chicago Outer Belt because it went around and not through Chicago. The Beltline eventually connected, following major cities with each other. South Chicago and a whole bunch of others, including Joliet. Route 66 Park, probably the first major tourist stop to celebrate the route along the way.
The park also has the Mother Nature sculpture and mosaic, placed in 2000 to honor the history of farming in Joliet.
This is the Rich and Creamy with the Dancing Blues Brothers on the roof. They say they're wrapped in neon lights to give the appearance of dancing. Well, it's daytime, so we can't see that. Rich and Creamy was restored by city leaders, although apparently it's too early in the season for it to be open.
Along the entire route, you'll find many of the old attractions clustered together. Find one, turn around, and you may see 3 or 4. This spot has the Route 66 Park, Rich and Creamy, and Dick's on Route 66 right across the street. Nope, they haven't caught up with me yet.
Definitely lower than what I paid. You can put a 5 where that 0 is.
The Ruby Street Bridge was built in 1935 and rehabilitated in 1972. It's the only fixed trunnion-designed bridge in Joliet, famous for its 6 historic movable lift bridges. Built between 1932 and 1934, the bridges represent 3 of the only 4 lift bridge designs in the world. Not on, but next to Route 66 on the Lincoln Highway, is one of them, the Scherzer Rolling Lift Bridge. More Joliet history is here, and since rain is moving in, let's go in.
Looks like I avoided the rain with the roof down. Hopefully just a passing shower. I think so. Hello. It's got a nice echo. Hello!
The history of Joliet flashes before us, as there's of course a century-long link to Route 66, and Joliet in its own right has much unique history.
Here's the first Joliet resident to walk on the moon.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
It's a tidy little layout. You may not spend a lot of time in it, but it's a well thought out and presented local and regional museum. Nice old street signs. Let's see some of the real ones. The Rialto Theater is as old as Route 66, opening on May 24, 1926 as a vaudeville movie palace. Sicilian immigrant Eugene Romeo styled the European design. Inside, which we can only see through the front doors, features more than 100 Czechoslovakian crystal chandeliers. This one in the center of the rotunda is called the Duchess, one of the largest crystal chandeliers in the United States. It weighs 2.5 tons and is nearly 22 feet long.
Everything started someplace, and here in Joliet, this was the first Dairy Queen. This building dates back to 1895, but it would become the world's first Dairy Queen, opened on June 22nd, 1940. It's vacant. Who knows? Maybe Dairy Queen will come back. Doesn't that remind you of the Addams Family?
Continuing along the road, we come to Wilmington, Illinois. Wow, we've seen so much in just 55 miles, and there's more than 2,200 to go. Wilmington, like so many of the towns along Route 66, has so many old buildings in its downtown. Established in 1936, the long-closed Eagle Hotel is one of the oldest commercial buildings along the Illinois section of the Mother Road. Damaged by fire several times, it has been a hotel, a bank, warehouse, tavern, storefront, and apartments. The Mar Theater opened the following year in 1937. It has its original stage, decorative ceiling, light fixtures, marquee, lobby, and ticket booth. The auditorium seats 300 people, with a newer, intimate second auditorium holding 64. This was a Sinclair gas station from 1963, one of the few with a signature green brontosaurus on the roof. At some point it disappeared until a replacement went up in 2001. Perhaps Wilmington's most famous attraction, the beloved Gemini Giant, originally installed in 1965 in front of the long-gone Launching Pad restaurant.
I think it's kind of funny that there's a mural of the Gemini Giant when you can just swing around here and see the real thing. He has much shinier pants than I had thought. Green metallic too. Pretty cool. Some mighty big shoes to fill, huh? I'm stopping at the Polk-a-Dot Drive-In in Braidwood, Illinois. In 1956, Chester Chet Fife converted a school bus painted in colorful pink polka dots into a fast food restaurant. Then in 1962, moved the business to this location, and it continues to be a popular stop along Route 66. It's a drive-in, it's got booths, outdoor seating, and of course all these fiberglass figures: Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, Betty Boop, James Dean, the Blues Brothers. And the food's pretty good too. Breakfast of champions. Or, well, lunch. I remember these. There was no one here when I arrived. Look, we've attracted a crowd. They have not one, but two Elvises. Excuse me, do you come here often? Clark Kent was famous for going into a phone booth and changing into Superman. But, well, don't you think everybody could see him change? Hello? I don't think anybody's home. Oh, that's a good dial.
Before we reach the next town, Gardner, there's Emidar Tire and Auto. It opened in 1939 as Lucenta Tire, sometimes overlooked as you have to step off Route 66 slightly and cross the rail tracks. It still has its period facade and styling. The shop on Route 66 is more current, with gifts and souvenirs some say are among the best on the route. Yes, I'm here a little late to see.
I am, that's who. Here's the two-room jailhouse built in 1906. Of course, predating Route 66. It appears he has a long sentence. Honest, I wasn't driving that fast. Oh! They let me out on good behavior. That's questionable. Betty Boop is on just about everything on Route 66.
Originally a streetcar in Kankakee, it was taken out of service and moved to Gardner in 1932, converted into a diner for a year. It later was a cottage and a playhouse.
He looks like he's been smelling the grease a little too long. All right, I think we're going to leave a GPS sticker here. Let's do it. There's a spot right on top. Look at that. As in so many places, Route 66 zigzags through some of these small towns. There's the interstate right next to 66. These people don't know what they're missing. We have the railroad on one side and the interstate on the other. Route 66 is right down the middle. Built in 1858, this is the Pioneer Gothic Church. The Prince of Wales later became King Edward VI of England, and right here he attended services in 1860 while he happened to be hunting in the area. The Chicago Alton Depot serves a variety of purposes. First, it houses the Dwight Historical Society Museum. It's also a station for Amtrak. Built in 1891, it's on the National Register of Historic Places. This may just look like a bank, but it's not any old bank. It was built in 1905. It's the only one ever designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. This was the first medical clinic for the treatment of alcoholism. 1879, that's when Dr. Leslie Keeley established this. It's formerly the Keeley Institute building, built in 1891, remodeled in 1902. There's a series of stained glass windows depicting the 5 senses affected by alcohol. Interesting place.
The Old Family Restaurant is family-owned and run since 2001, using recipes dating back to 1977. Basil Tubby Ambler operated this gas station from 1938 to 1966. It remained opened until 1999 and was one of the longest continually operated stations on Route 66. The building was restored to become the visitor center for the village of Dwight and placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2001.
Still in Dwight, Illinois, this is a lake. Well, I don't need to tell you that. But this is a special lake as far as Route 66 is concerned. When they built the road, this was a gravel quarry. And after Route 66 was finished, it flooded and became this lake. There's still a big pile of gravel. There's an old section of pavement.
Sections of the old Mother Road continue between the maintained lanes, railroad, and interstate highway.
Blink and you pass by what's left of this one, the old mobile station. Blink and you'll miss this one. Just look for the church, and across the street is what's left of this pedestrian crossing. Odell may be a tiny place, but the traffic on the Mother Road got really congested, so it became necessary to build this passage to safely cross for churchgoers and school children. In 1947, there was a 4-lane bypass 2 blocks to the west, and so Business Route 66 was born. This tunnel was no longer needed, and they filled it in. There's some parochial students coming out in 1934. Right there. Here's the first Bike Route 66 sign I've seen. This is Patrick O'Donnell's gas station. He was a local contractor. He bought a piece of land right here on Route 66 in 1932. Standard Oil of Ohio had standard plans for service stations. These plans dated back to 1916. Patrick O'Donnell followed those basic plans, but then in 1940 he added a 2-bay garage. In 1995, the Route 66 Association of Illinois Preservation Committee initiated restoration and preservation, and the next year the property was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. The village of Odell acquired the station in 1999. Currently, it's a visitor center. Of course, closed at this hour. Not too far from the interstate. Whatever it took to get the customers in. One of the old gravity-fed gas pumps. This would not work well in my car. Plenty of stickers. Can you find the GPS one? It's like, where's Waldo? There you go. Look for it when you stop by. It's a 1953 Winnebago. Not bad for a 73-year-old rig. This is the old barn just outside of Pontiac for Merrimack Caverns in Missouri. Well, talk about trip planning. This original section of the Mother Road crossed a stream right here. The bridge is washed out. The other side of the road that's been maintained obviously is still there. Remnants of the original Mother Road. Route 66 crossed right over this. Half of it still does. A lot of this is now currently underneath what is now the interstate. Sitting on the original Mother Road.
The first Burma shave signs I've seen. Well, we'll have more in daylight farther down the road.
Pontiac has a nice, large, free parking area. The old next to the more recent.
Pontiac is known for its murals, and the downtown appears to be under heavy restoration in the spring of Route 66's centennial year.
This is the classic area of Pontiac, Illinois, behind the museum, although right now the area is blocked off for construction, presumably to be ready for the summer months of the centennial year of Route 66. Lots of murals in Pontiac. You'll see in the books and on the apps, swinging bridge singular. Actually, Pontiac has 3 of them. There's another one over there. They were built for pedestrian traffic. The oldest was built in 1898. This is the Vermilion River, and from Riverside Drive, the original spanned to Play Park. It's anchored by a concrete and iron structure, 190 feet long, 4 feet wide, supported by cables, and swung from masonry piers. The bridge was originally constructed to allow workers who lived on the south side of Pontiac to get to shoe factories on the north side quickly. Well, they obviously spent a little bit of shoe leather crossing the bridge. All 3 bridges cross the Vermilion River, and although the wooden walkways on the bridges have been replaced many times, the ironwork on the bridges is all original. It does have a definite bounce to it. It's more like the bouncing bridge. It seems shoes are still a thing in Pontiac. That's Bob Waldmeyer, and the mural was designed by him. He's a Route 66 icon and artist, and intended to design and paint the mural for the city of Pontiac. As the bell tolls, as it unfortunately did for Bob because he had a fatal illness and was not able to paint the mural. Instead, the city asked Bob to design a mural which would be painted by others, and this mural project was Bob's last major art commission. Much more from Bob Waldmeyer throughout Route 66, especially as we head west. This is the Pontiac Oakland Automobile Museum. It houses the world's largest collections of Pontiac and Oakland automobile branded items. They also have antique and classic cars, related auto artifacts, and they have a resource center library. More than 1,000 old highway maps, sales brochures, and original design drawings. The old Log Cabin Inn opened as the Log Cabin Restaurant in 1924. The front of it was initially on State Highway 4, but then for Route 66 after 1926. And with the completion of the bypass alignment of the route in the 1940s, the owner decided to lift the building from its foundation and then turn it to face the new roadway. It has very limited hours now, pretty much just for lunch. So if you'd like to eat here, come before 2 p.m.
If you'd like to continue the journey, check out the next episode as we ride the length of historic Route 66.